and I had to say I was having a panic attack for the medics to come in order so that the police would come. And looking into that guy's his relation, I mean, he's been to jail. He was a heroin user. He blames it on marijuana, which is like it's like reefer madness. The neighbor made him smoke weed at 9 p.m. and that's why he turned into a heroin addict. And I'm not sure. I know a few people who smoked weed when they were 9 and they didn't turn into heroin addicts. But to see the pictures of all the police, there's a lot of pictures of him on Facebook with the police. So, I mean, and it felt like Grand Theft Auto, the video game, like it was like a real gangbanger. Like it was like that Scientologist brought out the gangbangers. It was like, this is their next move is gangbanging.
It is weird. We were just chatting about that, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. And Blow Drill made a good point about the Sea Org. If they're using L. Ron Hubbard's Scientology tactics, they gather information, they create a plan, and then they execute it. And then they will gather information again. It's just so bold because we all know no one is on that street unless Scientology wants you there. They will try to get rid of you. So it was just so blatantly, yes, they're with us. We're allowing them to be here. And then they go back into the buildings. Tell me a little bit about what was happening when you spoke with the police when they came.
Well, I could see that they weren't going to do anything. And it's hard to, I really want to have a good rapport and a good relationship with the police. But at this point, it is next to impossible just to not call them pigs because they're putting us in danger. They're putting us into a dangerous situation where someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Because they keep allowing these attacks and no repercussions for the attacks. And that's a very, very, very scary situation. And the officers, after they went and talked to the police, they came back and they weren't concerned about the 4 gangbangers. They weren't concerned about the truck being in there. The cops came back and they were worried about my van being parked in the loading zone. That's what they came back with. And then they came back 5 minutes later. The church called them for that there was hate speech being put down in chalk, and they came within 5 minutes for chalking. 40 minutes for an attack by 4 gangbangers and intimidation. It wasn't just it wasn't, nothing broke, but that was a very intimidating situation. And no one's intimidated. We're not fucking intimidated at all. And we're going to come back. And all that does is make us even want to come back more. And this week I'm taking off, but we're going to occupy that place now. We're going to stay there. We're going to have someone there 24/7. And we're going to just cook in the morning and cook at night. And the neighbors are loving just the free food. And I think to think that somebody on a grill cooking corn dogs and French fries is a threat is insane.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world, it's not about us knowing stuff, and it's not about Scientology. It's the rest of the world watching, this guy's just cooking food. Now there's gangbangers. It wasn't even a Scientologist. They sent out Scientologist gangbangers, which I didn't even know Scientology had gangbangers. So that was a whole different look. But and to see that he is involved with the main drug program to stop marijuana. That's what they're going after, marijuana, which is it's just funny and hilarious. And yeah, but I told the cop, I was like, someone's gonna die. Literally, you have Tori here who's 76. You can't have gangbangers going and pushing people over and messing with people when there's a 76-year-old. Someone's gonna get really, really hurt.
Yep, you're totally right. And I'm so glad that that's the part that just blows my mind. They know it's being videotaped. They feel so confident in themselves. But here's the thing that I think people need to remember about Scientology. We're talking about an organization that committed one of the largest infiltrations into the United States government in history. They infiltrated 136 government institutions. These people don't play, but they follow the same playbook, L. Ron Hubbard's playbook. I don't know if you saw the comment I put up earlier from Blow Drill, but he makes a good point. They want to isolate you as a target, find out what your buttons are, and push them. This is what they do. They gaslight people. So part of their data collection when they identify somebody as a potential threat or target is to find out what are their buttons, what do they react to, what might cause them to stop, because the whole goal is to completely shut down that person by any means possible, which is what fair game is in Scientology. So one of the things, easier said than done sometimes, but I would, my two cents of advice sometimes for protesters is don't let them see a sweat. It's not a tactic that works either, because what they don't understand, even though Scientology tries to say that they're the experts on the human mind, they don't understand the human spirit. They don't understand love. They don't understand that this is being driven by something bigger. And even though things get heated at times, because there can be and there are strong emotions when certain things are done, and they should be, what they're missing is people out there who've never been in Scientology are driven now. Some might have shown up initially, for the fun and all that. And that's totally cool. Show up for the entertainment. I'm all for it. But learn about what's happening and become educated about that with Scientology. They don't count on that people are there who really feel and hear these stories, like from Laura FM with her dad and so on, Serge Delmar and so on and so on and so on. So it's just, I appreciate so much what all of you are doing. And I love too that you're feeding the homeless.
Yeah, and it's not just the homeless, it's everybody. Anybody could, it's community.
Yeah.
And like the neighbors are stopping by, the neighbors want to be involved. And like, I didn't think that doing that would be such a powerful thing, but truthfully it's the only thing. And because it shows us having fun and it shows us having community. And that's what Scientologists lack, is community. And every time these attacks happen, everyone comes and hangs out. Now we got food going, so everyone's sitting around eating, and we're all trauma bonding, however you want to call it. And with the chat, we're all trauma bonding to these, and we're getting super angry and upset, and that's forging this like super strong, like the sword has to like go into the flame and come out and put it in and cooled off and put back into the flame and cooled off and put back in the flame and cooled off, and eventually it becomes a very strong weapon. But that's kind of the process that we're going through, and I see that even with the cooking, how many people are helping, how many people are coming through, and even seeing like the Wendell thing that all play out. That's been kind of like crazy with his stuff being in the parking garage, and then PJ Becky at the police station, and Wendell pops up over there, and she's afraid, but we're all afraid, but we're not scared to be there. And we're aware that and any of us could go into a cage, and just like Jay just was in a cage, and they pop me off and say that, it's a cite and release and that it's nothing. And then 2 days later, they put Jay in jail for 6 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah.
So the police are continuing to show how one-sided they are, and my views are going up. All of our views are all going up. And so more and more people are coming. And I think everyone who's helped and all the support, everyone's been just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head. Do you remember the last time they went at, well, one of the times, there's been many. What you were doing right before they really went at you is you were interviewing the different streamers. You were like bringing them up and introducing them to your audience and sharing. And I keep saying this, Scientology cannot stand. They are more threatened by community and people coming together and sharing than anything. They can handle hate. They can do hate all day. They can't handle compassion. They don't understand it. I know this because I was in Scientology for 35 years. I didn't understand the power of that until I left. And it makes so much sense to me now why They'll target you when you do things like that, feeding people, bringing people together. Why they target Jay? Same thing, creating community, bringing people together. It is a huge button for them, because even though a lot of them don't understand the power of that, they recognize and know that it's just going to continue to build something. Because even if some people who are protesting need, like yourself, need to take a break, other people are going to show up. This isn't going to die down. It just continues to grow. And what continues to make it grow is that purpose and that compassion and the reason for doing it. And you guys are great at making that known, which is why they go at you so hard.
Yeah, and now we have Matt coming all the time, MD Media, and Eric Rader, and now Denver Jay's there streaming, doing that 24-hour security stream, which I think a lot of people really appreciate that. Just to someone sent me an email with all the different faces that crossed that camera that came out of that hotel across the street. And I think that's just great. And if we get to the point to where we are occupying and we have someone there 24/7, I think it's just the more people that come, the more safety there is. Even if those gangsters come back, and they're going to come back, why wouldn't they come back? This guy has been in jail for 20 years. He was addicted to heroin. He's running the gangs like. They're running with gangs. Those guys are gangbangers. There's no way to put it. And the public is going to see that. The public is going to see that the church hit them. And this is what I don't understand. Why would they park at Scientology building? They're so effing stupid. How stupid. I mean, but if that's what the intention, that the intention was to show us that they could do whatever they want, and not only can they do whatever they want, but the police are going to protect them. And so I don't know if it was just like being stupid or what. But for that, what's his name? Daniel. I forgot his name. For him to be in charge of the drug program for them.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It's really it's amazing. We couldn't have been attacked by anybody better, truthfully.
Yeah. They have part of the policy in Scientology when going after critics is to do what L. Ron Hubbard calls a noisy investigation. So they're not always trying to hide it. A lot of the times they want you to know, because they believe that is part of the intimidation of what will shut people down. Early on, they tried to keep a bit of distance. They're trying different tactics, but all from the same playbook.
Well, since your little babysitter, your little dude that you babysat, Sean, since he's shown up, there has been a huge change in tactics.
Yeah.
And so, and we're hoping that we're going to get Odo out. I think Odo's. I think Laura did a great job the other day with Odo. And it was interesting to see how Sean, after that had happened with Odo, Sean basically had Odo go and pull down the flyers. That was like he showed emotion, so he had to go and pull down the flyers in front of all the cameras, which is the opposite of what they've been doing for the last 3-4 months.
Yeah,
they've been leaving the posters up, so that was a big change of play. And then also with the arrest, and my arrest, and then Jay's arrest for the bullhorn for disturbing a religious ceremony. There's like 6. I have 6 bullhorns in the mail right now, and so y'all need to come and blow the bullhorn, or even if you just come and blow the bullhorn and then leave. We're about to be engaged in some mass civil disobedience. Just parking on Ron Hubbard Way is a huge patriotic thing to do right now.
Absolutely. And I do agree. A lot of the comments you're saying right now that Laura did make an impact when she was sharing her story more. And think about Odo goes way back, even with Tori, when Tori first left. And that's impactful, So just keep it up. And
you guys had community yourselves in Scientology, and so this wouldn't work. The never ends are helping, but it's y'all who were in the church and had those personal relationships with these people for 30 years, 40 years. And those are the people that are in the top, the top, the top of control in Scientology. You, Serge, all of you together know a couple people that are within. Nora, I know she saw somebody the other day, and so that's important, because I think that, you know, those personal relationships, eventually you have an ability to plant a seed that could grow later.
Yeah,
So
they
thank you
don't.
for having me on.
Yeah, the biggest reason why they excommunicate and declare us oppressive people, especially after we leave, you know, I left, then they declared me, is so that Scientologists don't speak to us, that they aren't allowed to follow us on social media. If anytime they find out someone even connected, like it's me and someone's connected to me on social media who's connected to a Scientologist, they try to shut it down, even if that person has no connection to Scientology. It's absolutely, it's so dumb because they have to follow this old playbook. But thank you for being out there, sending you all kinds of love. And thanks for continuing to share the reasons why you guys are there. I love the conversation you had with the pressure washer guy. They don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to do with someone telling them. I mean, I started here on YouTube mid-December, and it's like, every time I talk about the compassion and all that, it like makes me want to cry. Happy tears. They don't know what to do with it.
Oh, I love you. Well, thank you, Natalie, and thank you, everyone, all of Natalie's mods. And I love you guys. I love chat. Thank you, guys. Have a great day, and make sure you're watching the streams tonight. You never know what's going to happen. Much love.
Absolutely. Talk to you later. Oh, I swear the compassion thing always gets me. It is such a big deal. It is such a big thing and a tool, because they're not used to it. They don't understand it, especially if they grew up in the Sea Org, grew up in Scientology. It doesn't exist, but it still makes an impact. I mean, look at me now. It still is. I've been out for 14 years and it still impacts me. So I know that it does them. It's just going to take some time. There's a lot of mind control. There's a lot of false ways of thinking that especially Sea Org members have ingrained into them, and Scientologists, but especially people in the Sea Org and people who are staff members in Scientology organizations. It's very strong, but little by little, it can change. Just persistence is key. Oh, excuse me, you guys. Okay, so let's see. I want to show you, we're going to get to Pearl Fest in just a minute. But I want to show you, let's see, where am I? I want to show you something that happened outside Pasadena. Tinker Mom was there and videoing a Scientologist. This is interesting. This guy's not a staff member. He is at operating Thetan level 8 is what was being said, but he's just across the street there, and he's handing out promotional items that nobody is taking. They want nothing to do with it. This, again, in Scientology would be considered like a senior Scientologist. This is actually kind of embarrassing. And usually, here's the interesting thing. You don't really see public Scientologists out there too much doing this unless they're in trouble. I don't know that this guy is in trouble, but usually if you see somebody up that high in Scientology doing something like that, it's because they're having to make up some amends because something happened. So, okay, so MD Media 18 is saying, yes, Tinker Mom, and yes, he is Richie Etrix. Oh, there was another Etrix who was, I wonder if that was his wife, if I'm saying that right. Me too, Brian. I feel sorry for the guy too. That's why I'm saying, like, he got in some kind of trouble. Now he has to be out there handing out. He's delivering his effective blow to the enemy of the group one has been pretending to be a part of despite personal danger. That is word for word part of what's called the liability formula, that Scientologists have to do all of these steps when they get in trouble to get back into the good graces of the group. Pause for Andrea. Great point. Who knew chalking is the most dangerous crime going on in LA? Police show up in 5 minutes for that. But an assault occurs. Oh, yeah, no. It takes multiple phone calls. and time passes. So let's see. Okay, before we get into Pearl Fest, let's jump over to Chicago because you guys, Windy City Thetan is on fire out there. I'm going to show you a couple things. First, you need to see the new shirt that he has because it's going to play into the next clip. It is relevant.
I want to kind of show you a little surprise.
You see that? Yawn if you are in a cult. And I don't know if do you guys remember the backstory on that? Because in Chicago, they started using yawn tech because L. Ron Hubbard said that there is an emotional tone scale. And then if you can be half a point to 1 point above where that person is, you can basically raise their vibration. And they see all the protesters as being antagonistic. And so boredom would be close to that. So that's why you'll see the yawning and the fake yawns. So he's out there wearing this shirt, yawn if you're in a cult. And what happens? Check it out.
And if you look at their pages, hi Anastasia, how you doing today? Oh, look.
Did you see the yawn? It was real quick, but she does a little yawn for a mouthful.
You yawn. She yawned. She isn't a cult.
You guys see that again. Watch for it.
And if you look at their pages, hi Anastasia, how you doing today?
See, the guy walks by and kind of blocks.
Oh, look, you yawn.
That was just hilarious. Yawn if you're in a cult. And then she breaks out the yawn tag. It's just next level. So there was another guy who is a Scientology staff member who was coming by, and he asked an interesting question of Windy City Thetan, which in my mind is like can open an entire can of worms. And as a Scientologist, that is the wrong question to be asking. He says, why are you against human rights?
I'm against human trafficking. It's not right to human traffic. Tell me what human rights you stand for. Is it okay that children have to audit adults who tell them perverse stories? That's human rights? Maybe you need to just some word clearing on human rights.
Creepy cult smile. Crazy thing about that is this Scientology has a front group called the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. And they go around promoting this Declaration of Human Rights that wasn't written by them. But they promote it is such a bait and switch. It was using that helped me get my daughter out of Scientology, help break through some of that mind control. Was I told her, keep in mind what your experience was in Florida at Flag, when you were forced to stay up half the night, cleaning bathrooms, on your feet, punished for not making sales quotas, rice and beans, when selling wasn't even your job. You were there training. And then I read her some of the actual human rights, and they were blatant violations, and she connected the dots in that moment. This is another example of how in Scientology, many Scientologists don't recognize these things as abuse. It's discipline. It is not. They do not see it as abuse. It took me a while to see it as abuse. So they think they're actually doing things to prevent human rights abuses because they're told, oh no, these things are here, human rights abuses. Not what we're doing. No. Making people stay up 24/7. No. Child labor. No, none of that. Breaking up families, disconnecting people, breaking up marriages. No, that's all good. That's all cool. It is not cool. Not at all. Now we're going to go over and look at, I think this is in Kansas City, Osamat versus Xenu. This was outside at Kansas City, and I thought this was so great. Chalk tech at work. A lot of things were happening here.
Now, if any of that water touches me, that is assault. So you know. So, have you stopped mocking up your own reactive mind yet? Because you know that's the clear cognition, right? You get a lot of auditing. And you have to do this all the time.
There's also a foundation that will help you blow if you need to.
Yep. There's a huge
Their number is 727-266-5792.
Hey there. Sorry about that. There's a whole support system out here for you guys.
And
Open
if you
arms.
don't,
We are here to help for when you're ready to leave.
I love that she shares the clear cognition there too. That's just a bonus there. uh, okay, so let's talk about Austin because there are all kinds of things going on there. I'm going to bring up Liz and hopefully Pearl Snappy is with her as well. I had a couple clips, but let's just hear it straight from them. Hey, Liz Ferris.
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing good. So you guys have Pearl Fest going on in Austin. There are multiple people there from the community. You're there. Of course, Pearl Snappy, Selfless Self is there. Lori Plays and Farrell Cheryl on the Loose from Clearwater came out there. I saw Degraded Daughters there as well. Tell us who else is there and what's happening.
So we have Laura FM. We've got a bunch of Never End showing up. Like the amount of hugs has been absolutely phenomenal. Like people are so kind, and it's like, you know, if I walk away to get some air or something, like I even tried to do therapy in front of the church yesterday. Like I thought it would be amazing because my therapist and I had set up an appointment. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit here with the view of everybody and right in front of their cameras, and I'm just going to have a therapy session. It'll help. Just trust me.
I love that. I love that. How'd it go?
The police showed up. So then instantly it turned into like this debauchery where they were like, oh, she sat on the building. And one of the Never Ends had sat on the building for a second. Like literally it was like 3 minutes. Like we'd been screaming all day. And she sits for 3 minutes and suddenly I think it was either 3 or 4 cop cars show up to tell her that she was sitting on the building. But here's the kicker. And this is where I'll let Pearl, she's out walking the dogs right now. But Pearl is going to have to explain to you that the police were basically insinuating that they were actually there for Pearl.
Wow. So that's why they came?
Yep.
So what ended up happening?
They ended up just giving the Never End basically a warning. Here's your warning. Don't show up. Blah, 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 blah. Don't sit on the building. He even came out shaking, like, please don't sit on the building. And I'm like, man, maybe my stutter's from Scientology. Because that was all bad. There was no confronting that.
So the police come in pretty much nothing burger. They just gave a warning.
Yep. So they had the campus security there as well, which was deplorable for anybody that went to college. Like, don't you want to pay for that campus security to be protecting, I don't know, the students?
Yeah.
Like I could be wrong. You know, I could have sworn that their job was to protect students, but you know, cult members are just as good as students, right?
Mm-hmm. And I see multiple videos of you guys talking to the students who are stopping you and saying, hey, I was watching your stream and there was a kid on a bike who's like, hey, I've seen this on TikTok. What's happening? What can you tell me? And you let them know and you told them about your dad, your experience growing up in Scientology and the Sea Org. And that, I mean, that's just amazing. Have you been getting a lot of that while you've been there?
Yes, I will tell you the one that got to me the most. So 2 of the security guards that were walking the staff to their cars, one of them, and yes, they're doing a job. Let's be realistic, guys. This is a horrible economy. They're doing a job. They're being paid. They've got kids at home. There's no reason to go after them because they're doing the best that they can. They're making $47, more an hour than every other Sea Org member a week. Yeah. So in the process of that, I just explained, like, this is what happens to the kids inside. And he came over and he's like, I didn't know. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I'm a med student and I'm just doing this to pay bills. And honestly, I'm sorry you guys went through that. Wow. And I just hit him with kindness. And it was just, for me, that's just my approach. Because I remember being that kid that was getting screamed at. Now, as an adult, if you want to scream at me, totally fine. But as a kid, that's my no button. Like, I'm not going to scream at a kid. Yeah. Because that didn't change my mind when I was a kid. It scared me when I was a kid. Like, why do they hate me so much, Mom? Why do they hate me so much? I haven't done anything, Mm-hmm. But now as an adult, I'm like, now you're all coffin dodgers. Like, not, I was almost a coffin dodger. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And I just think that's hilarious.
What can people expect? We're all going to be watching your stream. So are you out there? Today is Saturday. Last night was Scientology graduation. What happens with Pearl Fest this weekend?
So far today, I think we're going to take a good day, a time for each other, a time to get to know the people that are still here, and just spend the day letting people get to know that we're, as much as we are on YouTube, we're still regular people. Like, I don't know about you, but I eat with a fork and a knife now, and I don't have to shovel, and I don't pick rice and beans for a very reason, that I never want to have it. Yep, day off. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go
It's
see
funny.
some of Texas.
I actually still do I like rice and beans, but when I thought back, I thought, you know what? I was never put on rice and beans, but I had served it in the diet. Well, because I worked in the estate organization. You got to remember, I put myself as low as I could possibly go in terms of the chain of command, because I knew that, I knew the writing on the wall and what happened, because I'd been around when I was training from Hawaii. I'd been around the Sea Org and all that for a couple of years by then, from the time I was 15. So when I went into the Sea Org, I was like, yeah, now I'm going to do this low level stuff and see if I can stay off the RPF.
Yeah, because let's be real, it doesn't take much to get you on the RPF.
Yep, that's true. Well, we're going to be.
I will tell you, when you come to Texas, because we're predicting that you're going to come to Texas. I need you to go to Juice Land and order a Bam Bam. Like, they have a drink named after my dog, Bam Bam, and it is probably it's the greenest thing ever. It makes me think I'm drinking grass, but it tastes so good. So if anybody's in Texas, just remember, it's literally Juice Land. Laura's getting us all eating healthy right now.
Laura does. That's funny. Well, I love seeing all of you together, and I'm glad that you guys are going to take some time and get to know each other and all of that good stuff. I'll be keeping an eye on your streams. Absolutely.
Yes. And thank you for all that you do. And in case you forgot, my Tony, I love you. You're an amazing human being. And thank you for loving our Natalie the way that you have.
Love you, Liz. Thank you for that. And I will talk to you again soon.
Yes, we'll talk soon. Love you.
Right. Love you. Oh, I just love seeing everybody together. I really do. Laura loves the juice. She likes the green juice. That's so funny, because we just pulled our juicer out again. And I was thinking, should I try it again? Try some juicing again. All right, that was fantastic. So good to talk to DOA and also Liz. Now, I want to share with you guys, I don't know if you know this, but Kelly Copter was at Scientology London, out there with that fabulous microphone that I love so much, She had that when we were in Clearwater. She's out there protesting. Let's take a little peek here.
Booyah.
I did art. It's art.
It is art.
No one can say
100%. Look how much opportunity there is down here for chalk, though. So
that
much.
is true.
It's not happening today because I think we will get arrested.
Kinda
Bev's
looks like
playlist
people
says
might have
hello.
done it.
You think? I don't know.
It's not the cleanest street in the world.
Oh, no, definitely isn't.
What's so cool is she has this conversation with a Scientologist. I'm just going to share a clip, but you guys got to watch the whole video. Link down below.
Do you know my parents are Scientologists? My dad was an OT5. He was. And we were at the Manchester org. We spent some time in Flag. I went to Greenfield School. Genuinely. I was 6 years old, and one of the sec checkers declared me a suppressive person as a 6-year-old. Can you believe it? Well, it happened. It's so out tech, right? Crazy. But guess what? It's happening all over the world, ma'am. It really is. We're not here because we hate you. We have no issues with the staff. We know you guys are working your asses off in there. We do.
It's not personal.
We do. But what's going on? Upper management, it's really wrong. My parents, Dawn and Peter Greenhouse. Maybe you don't remember them.
I was up there just for a short while in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's not.
So when you get a chance, go check out the link down below and watch the full video because it is good. It is it's a really good live there. Kelly, I always forget with the time difference. It's probably end of day there now. But that was fantastic. You got to see it. You got to see it. All right, we're going to grab some questions here and comments. Let's see. We did that one. We did that one. We did that one. Oh, maybe I'm more on top of it than I think I am. Free Xenu Project. Thank you for that. It's getting like that in Chicago. They come out in minutes for chalk, but assault on protesters and it takes hours. So it sounds like you're referring to the police. And that's interesting that is also happening in Chicago. We got to keep an eye on that. Sandra OT420, thank you for that. It makes us more angry and fired up, F Sciento. Yeah, these failed intimidation tactics, it's just going to continue to bring people together and make more people aware of the abuses in Scientology, any type of protest outside of Scientology even. That's what happens because it's uncomfortable and things happen like these clashes and these incidents. The difference is Scientology is the one sending these goons out. That's kind of the thing. They're creating a lot of it. The Diane Marie, thank you so much for that. Just send you an email with a link to the Attacker on Scientology website. He works for them. Thank you for doing that. We will check that out. Jennifer, isn't CLO where OSA lives? That's the Continental Liaison Office. Physically, is there offices in there? I don't know. But in the Scientology organizing board, let's see, Continental Liaison Office, I think it has a section for Office of Special Affairs, but here's the thing. The Office of Special Affairs operates separate, if that makes sense, almost as their own entity, separate from the organization. Even in smaller organizations, there's a director of special affairs. They're part of it, but kind of separate, if that makes sense. They deal directly with seniors in OSA. And if somebody can explain that a little bit more eloquently than I did, throw it up in the chat or the comments there. Dina, thank you so much for that. Also remember that the entire group is run by a person who's never lived in the real world or even gotten a high school education. That's correct. David Miscavige, I believe he joined the C organization as a young teenager. And he did not continue his education beyond that. Many of us didn't. I dropped out of high school when I was 15 to work for Scientology. And the first thing I did when I left Scientology was not go to Disneyland. I went back to school and got my GED. Very common. Malta McMurchie, thank you so much for that. Please like the stream. Let's make my Tony proud. Thank you. Thank you. Crystal Glitter, hip, hip, hooray. Thank you for becoming a member. Love that. Hutton. Thank you so much for that. Church of Goofyology. You guys just cracking me up today. Thank you so much, Sandra OT420. Parking tickets for days. Carrie C, hip, hip, hooray. Thank you for becoming a member of the channel as well. And I think I missed a link from Fluffer Squirrel. But Nancy, I don't know which link exactly, but I'm sure we will go back and find it. Oh, I know what she's telling me. Thank you, Nancy. I just realized I wanted to share. We talked about this yesterday here. Fluffer Squirrel made this amazing painting that I love that she said was inspired by Tony and I. Do you guys remember when I was in Clearwater, I shared, I don't remember if it was a photo or a video, but Tony and I were swinging on swings in Aaron's backyard and just having a great time. And I absolutely love this. I love it so much. But I wanted to share that. I told you guys yesterday that I would. You love it too, Kelly? Yes. Yes, me too. Absolutely love it. Jennifer Marie Joyce, hip hip hooray. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. I really appreciate that support. You guys are just Kim is blue, swing tech. Yes, it was so much fun. And yes, Daisy, I agree. That's such a beautiful painting. I love it so much. Love it so much. All right. I think we got most things going here, and we are a little bit over an hour, so we are going to wrap it up. Please be sure to hit that like button, everybody. That is your homework. Make sure you hit the like button before you head out. Nancy, is anybody live? And make sure you check your subscribe button as well and hit that. And it's a good idea to hit that notification bell if you can. I'm working on getting some interviews scheduled. There's just some people I've been dying to talk to. I don't think I will ever run out because there's just so many interesting stories in and around this community with people, whether they're ex-Scientologists, ex-Sea Org members, or people who've never been in Scientology, but all in on bringing this cult down. And I absolutely love it. Let's check SPTV space. I know Nancy's probably checking too. It looks like Nancy. Did you find one? I think that I know Jay's out there. So maybe we do that. Everybody who's staying online, head over to Denver Scientology Audit. I'm going to pull up his channel. I'm sure you guys know it. Let's take a look here and let's go do a Natalie raid. It's nice when we're a little later in the morning and people are still live. So there that is. He is there in Los Angeles. Boom, right there. Everybody head over to Jay's and say hi. Let's do a good raid and show him lots of love there. I'm going back here. Yeah, and stay tuned for ProFest is continuing too. Kim is blue. Reese has a standing invitation. She was one of the first people I invited to come on the channel. So she can come on anytime. Neuropsych, yep. I'm catching up on that jet lag. It has been something, let me tell you. Coming back is always difficult because of the time difference and it takes so long, but then you, on top of it, you go forward 5 hours. But the funny thing is, it's like, it's hard. You can't complain because what am I going to say? Oh, I'm so tired because I was in Hawaii for a week. No, but I am. I'm drinking my water. I'm going to, take some extra vitamins, really boost that immune system too. I just I'm all distracted, like watching Jay. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up. Go over and show Jay some love over at Denver Scientology Audit. I'm going to be back here again. I'm not sure if I'm doing anything else today. You never know, which is why you got to hit that notification bell. But for sure, tomorrow, which is Mother's Day, we're going to be doing the Scientology News recap at 10 a.m. Central Time. So keep an eye out for that. I'll get a notification out. In the meantime, you guys know the drill. Just get out there and have the most amazing cult-free day.